Hello, and welcome to Behind the Decks. This is a show about the beats, the backstories, and the people who keep Alaska's dance floors alive. So each month, we sit down with DJs, producers, and artists, promoters, and all the people that are shaping the electronic music community right here in Alaska. So I'm Amanda, better known as Dig Sista. I'm here with my co host, Casey.
I'm Casey. I'm also Harlan Punk.
Today, we're joined by the team responsible for bringing the largest electronic music festival to Alaska, largest ever, Sacred Acre. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Welcome, Chris Miller and Hannah Stearns.
We're stoked to be here.
Yeah, very nice to be here with y'all.
Yeah. So kind of wanted to, before we kind of get into the origins of, Sacred Acre, maybe we can just have you guys share a little bit about yourselves and how you met and maybe what each of you were doing before this came to fruition.
Right. Yeah. Well, so my journey started long ago in the deserts of New Mexico back in the 90s and throwing my first rave at 17 and then cultivated into a culinary career, into Whole Foods, kids, marriage, and then eventually Amazon buying Whole Foods and me moving to Alaska, getting to Alaska and just seeing a large gap in the EDM scene in general, especially in the festival world with, my house looks over the Cook Inlet. So after long days in the kitchens and at the resort, watching those sunsets and just thinking, wow, we need to share this.
Yeah.
Really kind of spawned the desire to start something like this. And I started calling the Kenai Peninsula Fairgrounds office where Hannah was working at the time.
Mhm.
And I think it took 15 phone calls.
Wow.
Or they called me back like right after COVID and said, "Are you still wanting to do this?" And I insanely said yes.
Uh-huh.
And so it started. And that's kind of my background and what led me to Hannah and her father, Jim Stearns, who's the director of the Kenai Peninsula Fair, as well, the director of Arches Alaska, which is where the camping and the amphitheater for Sacred Acre are held.
Going all the way back, my dad has been in music production for the last 60 plus years of his life. He toured with the Grateful Dead the last 10 years that they were on the road.
Whoa.
He was their backstage hospitality manager, worked directly with Jerry Garcia, and then started down the path of music festivals in the state of California. And then that's kind of what I was born into. I was born into rural California, where the property that we lived on was so far removed from the outside communities that we were the place where like raves really had like a home. So it's like
cool.
very early stages of like true raves, back when you used to go somewhere to get a phone number to call,
map
to go
points.
to the location to get the venue address. Like that was the day. Those were the kinds of raves that we had on the property that I grew up on. And so Symbiosis, who I'm not exactly sure what the production company is off the top of my head, but they did the Oregon Eclipse, the Texas Eclipse festivals. They actually
Insomniac.
No, that was they have partnered with Insomniac now, but it was the original company that backs and it produces a majority of those events. They came to our Avery Ranch, which is where my dad's property in California. And so the very first, or I guess it wasn't the very first, it was the 4th year of Symbiosis through the 8th year of Symbiosis happened on my family's property. And that was when I was baby, like
that's so cool,
4 or
though.
5 years old. So I've been in this culture since the day I was born. My family moved to Alaska in 2008. After our house burned down in California. And in 2011, my dad connected with Renewable Resources Foundation, who started Salmon Stock. And then after 4 years of Salmon Stock, that organization dissolved. And then he went to go on to create Salmon Fest. And I've worked full time in the festival industry since 2011 when I was a child. My whole summer was always dedicated to the industry.
Yeah.
And then when I was 16, I started working full time for Salmon Fest, and then this crazy guy started calling in 2019. Like you said, it took until 2020 for us to finally connect. December 21st, 2021 was the first day that we ever had an in-person meeting. It was solstice, and he was making tamales at his house.
Nice.
And he pitched this crazy idea to my dad and I about this music festival that showcases our beautiful state and brings character actors, because Chris's mom was one of the very first character actors in Meow Wolf, New Mexico, with Grandma Jean Unseen.
No way.
And so he was talking about bringing this character acting mixed with music festivals and being able to use the kind of the same roots of Salmon Fest ideas of bringing an environmental cause to the forefront of the conversation, while also having Alaska's largest rave that, and all of the production mixed within that. And
so awesome.
At that point, I was 21 years old, and all of it was just like, wow, like, I've been doing music my whole life. And that same year, I went outside and worked at my first outside of Alaska event. Just on my own solo. I went out to Desert Days in Riverside, California, and dove into this whole creation process with him, and now we're here.
That's
a heck of a backstory, but
For real.
wow, you have lived production. You are production.
It's very similar to
Yeah.
actually
Amazing.
Casey. I think Casey's
Yeah.
also lived production his whole life. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
It's such a fun way to do it.
So I
I'm
love Chris
trying-
and Nan have taken the time. They're actually, this is what they do full time all year, but they're also live at the cannery at the restaurant.
Yeah,
They both-
live here.
yeah.
Yeah, so this guy, crazy guy that he is, he decided to start a restaurant and a music festival all in the same year. So
And have a baby.
have a baby. Yeah,
My fourth baby.
his fourth baby.
Oh my
So
goodness.
literally, while we're trying to get Sacred Acre off the ground for the first time, we have this. The restaurant does a soft opening in February of 2021, and for Valentine's Day, and then officially opened its doors in May of 2021. We had our first Sacred Acre in September of 2021
Mhm.
or 2022.
It was
Yep.
2022, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2022.
First year.
And
Yeah.
then we opened the restaurant, and
So I guess that was in 2022 that the restaurant opened as well.
Yeah, 2022, the restaurant opened, and we threw the first Sacred Acre at the end of that summer, September 13th, 14th, 15th, I believe was the first one.
It was 9th, 10th, 11th.
9th, 10th, 11th. Yeah.
Pretty sure.
9th,
I have the
10th, 11th, that
flyer.
was a
Hold
lot.
on, let me look. It says so.
Right-
Yeah.
it's right here. 9, 10, 11.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
September. Yeah, the first.
There.
That's crazy. September 9th, 10th, and 11th with artists that I almost didn't believe was real when I saw the flyer. I was like, this is not real. Like, this is not, I didn't think it could be real because the polls that
was,
you got. Closey, Opio.
Actually, something that we heard quite a bit of.
Fire Festival was the exact words. This is a fire festival.
Yeah.
No way.
Everyone was accusing us of basically being.
Jim and Hannah talked me into booking these huge names.
Huge names, like unbelievable Alaska
and
polls, you
for
know?
like 2 weeks we dealt with Fire Festival comments and
Ugh.
yeah. And
But when it
eventually
happened,
paid off. We
Yeah.
had what roughly 1,400 people year one, and that was well more than Salmon Stock or Fest had in their first year.
Yeah.
So it paid off.
So why September? Why is the end of the year, or not the end of the year, but the end of summer, the time frame for this festival?
Yeah, so like September's not the most opportune time for ticket sales and or like getting families involved or anything like that. Everyone's back to school, college is restarted, right? It's definitely a tough time for that, but we need the dark because we are very production forward. So LED wall lasers, lighting packages, projection, like that is what we wanted to bring to Alaska that is not here. Obviously for good reason in the middle of summer, even Showdown Productions, even Salmon Fest, most other places can't even deploy a laser because it's just too light out during the summer. So we needed to hold this as late as we possibly can without it getting too cold, but with it still giving us enough dark to do so. Now the benefit to Alaska is once it starts getting dark, it starts getting real dark.
Real dark.
I've never been to Alaska before in the winter, in late fall, winter into early spring. When it gets dark, it gets scary dark, right? So that's the main reason we stick to the weekend after Labor Day. So just because of the way calendars work, every once in a while we fluctuate on dates a little bit because we are always the weekend after Labor Day.
Also, a conversation that Chris and I have had as we were planning, because I remember back in the early days of like deciding this is we're the weekend after Burning Man. So, and there's a large amount of international travelers that come, you have to fly through Anchorage, or you have the opportunity of flying through Anchorage when you're coming back from Burning Man. So we tried to kind of poise ourselves after that to try and potentially catch some of those international travelers, which we actually have been able to do this year. We have at 70% of our tickets, 75% of our ticket sales right now are coming from outside of the state of Alaska.
Over 800.
It's amazing.
Over 800 people coming from outside of the state.
Awesome.
So,
Another big poignant factor of Sacred Acre being in September is being a local business owner myself with the restaurant, also wanting to save in costs on hotels and rental cars. We're in the shoulder season of Alaska, right? So Labor Day is like the last hurrah for tourism in Alaska. And then, you know, after August 19th, 17th, 20th, it starts kind of petering out. But after Labor Day, it's like the brakes turn on and everyone's gone. So this is,
we try to make it for a shoulder season so we can catch some of the seasonal workers that are up here before they head out of state. We want to boost the shoulder season. I mean, with 800 people already, and we still have almost a month before the festival. We've sold tickets in California, Colorado, and Utah today.
That's amazing.
So there's people. It's definitely boosting that shoulder season. It's giving the opportunity to showcase. I mean, sometimes September is one of the most beautiful months of the summer in Alaska, and so, and even if it's not, and we get a little bit of rain, lasers look fantastic in the rain.
They really do. Yeah.
And if you equate it, it's like if you have 800 people, probably by the time this thing's done, we'll have 1,200 to 1,400 people. That's hundreds of rental cars, RVs rented, restaurants traveled, hotels stayed at, onward and upward. It is boosting business for local small family-owned businesses in Anchorage and down the Kenai Peninsula.
And we really try and prioritize partnering with small businesses within the state to really highlight to the people that are traveling from outside of Alaska.
That's awesome.
So that they can come experience some of the wonderful things that we get to at all year round, and they get it for a much better cost than they would be coming in July or August even.
No, that actually makes a lot of sense because September is like, the hotels, they fall off on the summer prices. Now you're into fall prices, which is like really good to think about. That's pretty important.
Sometimes less than half for a hotel room. It goes from like $500 or $600 for a night in Anchorage.
Yeah, they want to fill those rooms.
It's ridiculous. Those rooms in the middle of summertime are crazy costs.
Yeah. Shout out to ATIA convention that happens in multiple areas throughout the
Alaska Travel Convention.
Yeah. We've been attending for the past few years and really building our partnerships with local hotel chains and such. But big shout out to them for helping us kind of get to where we have been with the Destination Festival, which that is Sacred Acre. It's a destination festival. We're trying to build that. It's for Alaskans, but it's also for anyone in the 48 or outside of the country to come and appreciate Alaska.
Now that we've gotten to know you guys, let's talk about your team that you work with. Is it a big team? Is it a small team? Like what are the people that also put it on a little bit outside of what you guys are?
Well, I would say, we've received some amazing support. Like people come to us for like all over the state, all over the world that want to come and bring part of their artistic project and support. We have some of the most amazingly loyal and supportive humans that help us make this thing come together that I could ever hope to ask for.
Including you guys.
Yes,
awesome.
including you
Yeah.
guys. But
Thank you.
We like to volunteer.
when it comes down to like 365 days a year,
Yeah.
you're kind of looking at it, you
Yeah,
know, like
the rough numbers are 300 and let's just say 355 days a year. It's Hannah, me,
we have
Calhoun from Rhizome Music. He's in and out. Cody, business partner in cannery. He's kind of in and out, but the bulk of the work, my brother James Miller. We also have Katie who does our Google ads. She's definitely involved throughout the year. And then we have Nick, who is also Pfeiffer, the artist.
Oh,
He's doing
yeah.
our ads. That is the year-round team. And then
Yeah.
roughly we have about 27 out-of-state people that fly here to help us pull this off for the 10 days, give or take, around the festival, with another probably 30 to 40 local volunteers, paid workers and such that help us pull the actual event off.
The thing with an event like Sacred Acre is that as soon as, I mean, it doesn't end Monday after the festival, obviously, you know, we have loadout, we have all the final, you know, loose ends that we need to tie up, all the final payments, all making sure that, you know, we're still continuing social media posts, putting up next year's ticket sales. But basically, as soon as we hit the week following Sacred Acre, everybody kind of just has a big sigh of relief, and we all kind of go to our own corners for a little bit.
You need a little fortress of solitude.
And then, you know, yeah, you need a little second to just be like, whoa, what just happened? You know, that was an amazing weekend, and we all just, you know,
I love that part though, when you're all done and you all come together and you're just like,
Yes.
we just did that. Like, it's pretty
yeah,
fun thing.
it's so
Now,
special.
granted, for the first 4 years, we were mopping the floors on Wednesday.
Well, that's the thing is like
I was mopping the floors.
yeah, I mean, we're a very small group, but it progressively, as we get closer to the festival, our team builds, and the amount of people that are engaged on the front end build. Like, you know, starting in about May, we start talking about all of our Everlight clearing packages, which are our VIP packages, and then that team starts getting engaged, and we start talking with them, and then we also need to talk to all of the folks that are offering all of the excursions that we have on site, like our helicopter tours, our foraging tours, our bumping on the bay boats, you know, spearfishing for halibut, cold
That's
water.
crazy. Spearfishing. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Do people
And Tate
take
B's
those?
going spearfishing for halibut this year.
Tate B is spearfishing for halibut underneath the volcano this year.
For real?
Thursday.
That is amazing.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That does sound awesome. To me, it sounds terrifying, but I love fishing for halibut. Just
And we actually have Jordan, last name.
I don't know what Jordan's last name is.
Big Joe, Big Mountain Joe.
Oh,
Jordan
yeah.
got this vision. So he's going to go with them, and he is going to follow the boat out, and he is going to purposely crash his drone into the ocean and then dive in with a camera and transition. And we're going to have this amazing video content.
That's rad.
This whole spearfishing thing happening that we might even be able to put onto the video wall and
No way.
projection
That'd be cool.
during Take Beat set on Saturday.
That's pretty sick.
We're so-
That was one thing I
we're
kind of
very
wanted
excited
to.
about that.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Casey. Like, I'm gonna turn a little over to Casey for some of the tech questions because, I mean, I tend to kind of take over because I talk a lot, so I'm trying not to do that as much. But also, I mean, I want to know. I know each stage kind of has a stage manager. Just like, I'm gonna turn over to Casey, and he can ask you some of those specific type questions.
Okay, well, let's dive in and talk a bit more about like the music, art, the tech, what it takes to make Sacred Acre possible. But first off, I want to ask, if I may ask right off the top, why bass music and the electronic music scene?
Primarily, like, just, you know.
Oh, it's a heater.
Yeah.
Well, bass music, from our research, bass music's the most traveled form of electronic music currently in the United States, but not worldwide. Worldwide would be a lot of different genres. But bass music's it right now as far as traveling. I mean, when you look at Envision's not a bass music festival, but their main stage year after year is predominantly bass music because that's how you get people to come down there. Also, I came from Colorado where bass music was huge right before I left. I left in 2018. That was kind of the pinnacle of Red Rocks really blowing up in the bass music scene, really coming to, right prior Grizz and Closey and all the big names moving there. So that's kind of why it's like a lot of people put us in the bass music festival category, but we have lots of other good music available throughout the night. Our main stage is definitely bass music predominant, but yeah, that's why bass music for sure. And it's also just something that the youth of Alaska and Alaska just hadn't really got yet. So that's kind of where we led.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Were you ever worried that the Alaska and the community would not receive it well?
Oh, for sure.
I think we're still concerned about
still.
that to a certain extent. And not that we haven't been received well already, but the thing that we have really realized with Sacred Acre, and we knew it walking into producing a festival like this, but it became quickly incredibly apparent that nothing like this has happened in Alaska because we talk about it with Salmon Fest a lot. Alaska is roughly 10 years behind the curve when it comes to overall music listening. Even when it comes to technology, it comes to vehicles, like
Everything
we're just
essentially.
kind of behind the curve when it comes to what's happening down in the lower 48. And the word rave and the electronic music in general already comes with a certain perception from people that don't understand it and haven't leaned into the world that we live in here. And that was kind of something that we chose to take on, at the beginning, was like, we know that this is a polarizing event within the state that we're deciding to do it in, but we still think that the people that should know about this or do know about this and don't have access to it inside the state deserve to have that. And that's not necessarily bass specific, but just electronic music and the names that people recognize, because a lot of people know music, but they don't know the artist that is producing it, right? And so a lot of the names that we bring have been that kind of energy as well.
Gotcha. So the perception, like what's the challenging there, or is there any way of resolving that?
Well, beat them on the dance floor. We stay committed. We stay positive. We lead by example. We create space for people to come there that don't want to party their, excuse my term, asses off. And
You're fine. You can use language. It's okay.
we're using this form of music to connect individuals and to connect people that want to go to a festival that has a little bit more than just really loud music and a ton of good partying. Like we want to have purpose behind it. We want to have people coming together that want to be there and then connect together. And so far, we're into our 5th year here. We're about to go year 5. It's worked. We've had people come from Colorado. We're all over the planet and mix in with the locals, Ninilchik, Anchorage, Kenai Peninsula, Fairbanks, Juneau, even though that's pretty far, the Valley, which is a huge market, and getting all these people to kind of mix it up on a level that is based off of, and that's why I really like the bass music. Is like the bass music has this very open-minded kind of message behind it. If we talk about the pioneers of that music, like there's always this message that goes behind it, and that's kind of what we're looking to do here, is put in some positive reinforcement for protecting our environment behind a quality festival.
And I think another way that we really kind of open that up is, kids under 12 and under are free with a ticket holding adult. And we also have a whole indoor workshop space where, if you did not want to spend a single moment in front of a stage listening to music at Sacred Acre, you could come and have a full spectrum wellness weekend for this, like it's all included with your GA ticket cost.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
you know, you can come in and you can focus solely on the yoga, on the breath work of our Stillwater space. We have cacao ceremonies,
The
tea ceremonies.
workshops, yeah.
Static dance.
Yeah, I mentioned
Ecstatic
some of
dance.
those. Like, yeah, there's so many
Yeah.
workshops you guys offer in the Stillwater space.
Yeah, and so like, you know, I think that allowing people to recognize that not only can those things coexist, it is the same group of people that want to welcome both of them simultaneously. Because I was mentioning earlier, I think that the term rave or electronic music has a bit of a bad perception on a global scale, or maybe not even global, because I've gone to Europe and obviously it's very well received there. But just like within America, there's this certain you know, expectation of, oh, you listen to heavy bass music, you must like XYZ things, fill in the blanks. I'm sure we've all heard them.
Yeah.
But you know, we also are very connected human beings. We all crave community and allowing people to really be themselves there. And you know, that's something that we want at Sacred Acre more than anything. You know, this is a space for everyone to come together and connect, whether you're bringing your kids as a family or you're coming as a solo person. I mean, our very first year, this gal came up from Colorado completely by herself, and she met her boyfriend. I don't know if they're still together at this point, but you know, at Sacred Acre, and they happened to be from the same area in Colorado and connected, and you know, so just being able to offer that kind of platform.
Great. So it's like a inclusivity is what you're creating in a way.
Exactly.
Connection. Yeah.
Very cool.
All are welcome here.
All are welcome.
Yep.
And then like, how do you capture people? Someone who the lady, for instance, who has just decided to come. How do you feel that you've captured them of the interest of being into this community effectively?
We kind of come.
I think that's something that we still continue to debate on.
I mean, we captured her year one with Closey.
Yeah.
And also, we came out year one with some very forward kind of storytelling, kind of mythical, like the Sacred Acre is the magical land between low tide and high tide. And that's something we haven't talked about yet, but the roots of Sacred Acre come from a pagan story written by a man named Ivo Dominguez in the 17th rendition of the Witch's Almanac. And that story is, it describes the magical land between low tide and high tide and the magical creatures from both land and sea.
Get to meet.
And it goes much more into depth. The very exciting thing is this year at Sacred Acre, we are going to have a workshop that is about that Ivo Dominguez is currently working with one of our local.
That's cool.
Actually, my wife, who read me this story in bed, and I sat up in bed and I said, "That's it."
That's what I was going to ask you, the origin of the name too,
Because,
how you came up with it.
You know, Alaska has the largest tidal plains on the planet other than Norway.
That's
right?
very true.
The Sacred Acre is something that is very Alaskan. Down here on the beach in front of the restaurant here, when the tide goes out, like this is where it goes out the furthest, and the sandbars come out and the tidal pools come out, and that is the Sacred Acre, right? The Sacred Acre is the magical land between low tide and high tide.
That's cool.
And I think that's a fundamental piece that kind of led into all of this, right?
Most certainly.
I love that. And I know that's like, I knew what the Sacred Acre was, but I love that you guys are kind of sharing what that makes. I was born and raised Alaskan, and it's just something you know. So being able to share that with everyone in the world, that is this magical place. And you did come out year one real heavy on this. Like it was almost like a myth, you know, it was like, this is going to be the most amazing festival with the, you know, you have the sea troop, like those guys, the stilt.
Sea legs.
Sea legs.
Yeah,
Yes.
sea legs.
Yep.
Thank
Sea
you.
legs. Been with us since year one.
Yeah.
We have a lot of stuff going on in the background about that, right? Like we've got comic book artists and writers and that we've been working with over the years.
That's
and
cool.
There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes here on this like overall spectrum journey, and then there's the things that we can actually make happen in a year with the small team that we have. I'd say, I mean, not to like completely negate everything we just talked about, looping back to your original question of like what really brings people here. I mean, you know, it's the artists. When we're talking on a national scale, bringing people to Alaska, I think that Alaska itself has appeal that, it feels like this foreign country. It feels like this place that is unattainable to get to, and seeing somebody that you have seen maybe a dozen times before, or you have been waiting your whole life to see as one of your favorite artists, somewhere where it's like, oh, I can fly up, I can get a shuttle right from the airport. All I have to do is pack a bag. We have preset tents that you can come up to, and we've had that since year one. So those are things
shuttles, rental car deals, RV deals, local hotel deals. Like, we really have it built to where anyone can come from anywhere and make it extremely easy.
We try and take the anxiety of travel out of it, because when you go into a new place for the first time, it can get really overwhelming of where do I book a car? Can I trust somebody booking a car here? Where do I stay? Is this hotel going to be worth my money? Or, like, what do I do when I'm there? Am I going to be able to find something that fits my interests, that I have the ability to like afford that? Or if that's something that I'm going to have to, like, do I go on Reddit and research that or whatever? Like, we just try and make it like a one-stop shop. You can pick up a shuttle bundle, get picked up right from the airport. We have shuttles that leave twice daily from Anchorage, and they run all year or all weekend long. You can leave on Thursday the 10th. Our first shuttle leaves at 8:45 a.m. Our last shuttle leaves at 11:30 p.m. Take you right down to the Ninilchik, get all settled in. We have shuttles that go back up to Anchorage every single day. So, you can move around really easily. You don't have to rent a car if you don't want to, but we do have discounts with that. We have RV discounts. And, these are things that, we're talking on a national scale, but also for locals. We have partners down here in Homer. So if somebody's coming from like Homer or from Palmer or from Anchorage, they can come to Homer. They can find somewhere in Ninilchik that, they feel like they can trust, because we have recommended it as a festival.
That's great. Something I've noticed in marketing of stuff that you've been doing online and specifically on Instagram, there was a photo that shows a map of the states where it's where your flight patterns can come from these major cities flying up to Alaska. And I always thought that was a great, just soft way to encourage someone to just come. It's easy. You just go to the airport and fly to Alaska. So I just wanted to point that out. I thought that's really clever marketing that just eases people into, I think I can make this work.
Yeah, I make it really simple.
And that's the thing. We are partnered with both Delta and Alaska Airlines, and both of those have hubs in most major cities that have direct flights directly to Anchorage, or at very least you get one stop in Seattle and then right on up. So, and especially when talking on the shoulder season, again, the prices to fly to Alaska drop significantly after Labor Day. And so, from places like San Francisco, Sacramento, Denver, Portland, Seattle, you can get a round trip ticket for $350, and then your ticket with a round trip shuttle is only another $300. So you pack everything you need, you get a festival weekend for $600.
I think that's the biggest thing to say is like our 3-day pass is only at like $220 right now. It's like if you look at Electric Forest or some of these bigger 600-700, 400, 500 for a 3-day pass. So like even with the travel, a little bit extra in travel, we're still comparative, or if not cheaper than most of the larger festivals.
Yeah, that's very reasonable for 3 days at a festival. Like $220, you said?
Yeah,
that's great.
Right now, we're at $220 plus taxes and fees. But
I had some questions. I know Casey was curious about sound systems.
Yeah, we didn't quite get into the techie side of the stuff in my questions yet.
Yeah.
But,
I wanted to know why certain things,
you want to ask me?
Well, just like the Void sound system. Like, whose idea was that originally? And like, I'm just like, they're amazing. Oh, really?
So when we first booked Closey, year one, it was apparent, like the only sound rigs that are in Alaska are mostly pioneers.
Mm-hmm.
There's some QVCs there, but there's
Been around
no
forever and
there.
ever.
Yeah, like when you look at the writers of most of these artists, it's all much above that. So we had to go and look and find a sound system, and it happened to be down in Washington that we found the closest one that kind of fit our branding.
Mhm.
A lot of people would probably put like a function one in there, an L acoustic in there. L acoustic is kind of like the standard down on the 48 that most concert venues use,
Mhm.
none of which are in Alaska.
Mhm.
So that's what led us down that hole at first in year one, was just looking for a sound system. And then it came to lasers, and we found out, oh God, there's no lasers in Alaska
Yeah,
that
that
we
was
can
another thing.
use when we need like
Mhm.
16 of them, and they need to be 20 to 30 watts a piece. And, so we started working with New Salt Laser at that time for year one and for year two. And we slowly built a relationship with EG Sound. EG
Mhm.
Sound had the sound system, the void rig that we wanted,
Oh,
and he
cool.
had a good amount of it. LB at EG Sound had a good amount of that void sound rig that we needed, enough for almost 2 stages. And then you just fast forward into the years to come, year 3, year 4. We bring all our lasers, most of our lighting package, most of our sound packages for both Ocean Stage and River Stage all come from out of Washington. They have to get onto a
Barge.
barge out of
Yeah.
Washington. That barge has costed us anywhere from 24,000 to now 13,000,
Oh,
and we've actually
Oh.
used the
Nice.
restaurant to work and get better deals in shipping through partnering with shippers. Like our sound system and our rigs and all our stuff come up the same way our food does for the restaurant.
That's
Interesting.
awesome.
Okay. Well, that
we
makes sense.
we really cross-utilized what we
52-foot container.
yeah, it's a
right?
52-foot container.
52-foot
We started
container.
with a 20-foot container, and next year we went to a 40-foot container, 40, and now we're at a 52, which is a full semi,
the largest.
the largest we can get.
And we pack that. When you open the doors to that thing, when it arrives to the festival, it's like, make sure you have your hand, because something might be falling out, right? Like, we pack that thing to the absolute gills to try and get as much production up here as possible.
That's smart though,
for 2 stages.
And we hope to work with some locals in the years to come as well.
We do.
As we grow this thing, currently we don't have 2 stages that are currently on at the same time. The moment that happens is this one vendor situation is not going to work, and we'll need all the stuff that EG has on the main stage to make it bigger and better than the years before. So it's an ongoing ebb and flow of figuring out how to make it work and grow to the people that we have here on site that need the production to make it all worth it.
That's awesome though. I love that you guys, I just love the performance art of it all too. Like it feels like there's so much that goes into like all of the planning of the spots and the places, like I was trying to think, like the arches, like the freedom that people have in their camp spots up there to make a whole other kind of world in the campground, which is kind of fun.
We got our side stages on main stage. We got fire spinning outside of that. We got Meg and Tristan have run our Stillwater
and our fire spinners
for the first few years, and now we have like a new management under that and Stillwater. So yeah, it definitely takes that army. But
it's definitely something that, like, from the very beginning, is something that he pitched me on. Was before we ever talked for like off the phone for the first time, I remember coming to dinner, and he had the comic book artist that we're currently working with, which is a whole nother kind of secret project that is coming together for Sacred Acre. But he had a comic book character that was based off of part of the Sacred Acre storyline that we're trying to kind of work.
Fishy Boy.
Yeah,
Fishy Boy.
He's in the past. Don't worry.
Yes,
but I like
it. He showed me this, and it's been kind of from the beginning. That's part of the reason why we lean so hard into, with still sea legs, still walkers, and then also our fire performers and that sort of thing, is like coming to a music festival. I think anywhere, part of the thought process is that you're trying to remove yourself from your day-to-day life, right?
Mhm.
And so when you come to Sacred Acre, we kind of like, we wanted to emphasize the magical experience.
Very much like Meow Wolf does, correct?
Right.
And now they do in Colorado, Denver, Vegas. They've got multiple ones all over.
Yeah.
Love
So
that, yeah.
we definitely, you know, as we actually have the very first, we don't have the visual like drawing draft, but we have the very first iteration of the first version of our comic book that's going to be released. We have all the speaking parts and they're working on developing it right now. So there's
And
gonna
there's been Easter eggs for the past
4 years.
That's pretty-
3.
I mean, with this
3 years.
comic book, but we've always
So when it
been
all
reading
comes
it.
together, whoever's
Whoa.
paying attention will be like, I've seen. Oh,
I've
that's
seen
where
that.
it is.
I
So
remember
it's all around.
last year I was hanging around in one of the artist campsite areas, and I was just given like 5 gold play cards. They're
Yeah.
like collector cards.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
this
Yeah.
related to that, or
It's that, I mean, yes and no. Everything's kind of tied in together. Like there's so much thought process that goes in between all of the conversations in our team that like, oh, this is all kind of linked together. The side quest cards that you
Mm,
were given,
that's what
that
those
was
were,
actually
okay.
one of our ambassadors.
Yeah.
Her name is Johnny, and she connected with the side quest folks at another event outside of the state, and she just was like, we need these for Sacred Acre. And so she took it upon herself to work with the team and kind of created that. And we were all about supporting it. And that was like a limited edition run. We
Those are
gave
cool.
her some of the ideas for the cards so that it would tie all back into the
It's all about
overarching-
creatures, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking it's
They're
you have
beautiful.
it's an immersive experience from
Yeah.
from basically getting on the plane, you're guided and hand delivered to the festival, and then you're in in a whole nother world you step into with the show,
Very
with all the
much.
different things to do. It's quite amazing.
That's our hope, really truly, is like you know, the world on a day-to-day is stressful enough for all of us. We all have the things that we are trying to escape from on a day-to-day basis, and being able to step into a community of like-minded people and you focus on the music and focus on the arts and focus on, you know, reconnecting with yourself, reconnected with the community around you, finding, you know, those like-minded souls really can just help us get through this life as a
Yeah.
whole. So it can feel really lonely in this world. And so I hope that people come to Sacred Acre and they feel less lonely and they feel like they have a large community and they have a network.
So
That's a big goal for us.
Is there like a specific creative person that's coming up with all the concept, like responsible for the creative freedom? Is that
Or is
you one of
everybody?
you guys?
You
or-
know, it's all a lot in the works. I mean, we worked with a comic book artist and a comic book writer. So we're working with them currently. They kind of take. My mom did a lot of writing. Hannah's done a lot of writing. So we have numerous video calls with them, and they kind of take everything that we delivered to them, and they are slowly churning that into what it will be.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That'll be
We also have, I mean, our videographers on site and our photographers, they have really helped us curate the overall branding.
Yeah.
We have with Aaron Carpenter from Tecton Studios. He's done the last 3 years worth of poster design for us. Our very first year was Android Jones. Our second year was Glass Crane.
Yeah.
And so, you know, Aaron Carpenter, he's local here in Homer. And so like between his like creative style and Chris's vision and my writing and the knowledge that I've had from festivals, and then Michael Daniel Media and the folks that he's brought, like it's been this big collective dream on the last 4 years of the festival. And then we got Langdon Foss and Matt Ward involved. Langdon Foss is an artist for Marvel, DC
Mm.
comic books.
He works around. He
He's
does.
he's done some pretty big comic books over the years, and that's
I don't think it was Marvel. I think it was. Anyway,
it was one of those two.
yeah,
I can't
gotcha.
remember, but
Gotcha.
so
Well,
he did Anthony Bourdain's comic book.
I see.
You're
Oh, cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, so he did that whole design. He did all the artwork in that, and we're working with him now. So, bringing them into the fold, it's been really interesting figuring out how to weave all of the creative perspectives because we also, Sea Legs Stilts, they have helped us create some of these characters that maybe we didn't even dream up, like
Yeah.
Krabatha, our giant crab puppet,
Yeah.
and Orca, our
Mhm.
orca puppet. That was kind of, we
That's so
followed
cool.
their lead on those things, and now
Mhm.
they've become, we were like, we want a puppet, and then they've created those characters, and now that is a big part of our brand and the overall vision and
Mhm.
where comic book is going to tie
So
into.
magical.
It's been a lot of intentional
I
and a
love it.
lot of organic growth.
I like
over the
that.
years.
That's great. And it really shows in all of the social media posts and any of the advertisement that it's a unique experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys have
Love
someone
it.
really good doing all of like the videos and stuff. It's fantastic. Like the
Yeah.
drone work that you have, it's very well put together. Like it looks like an event. Like I'm like, what is that? I want to go
Mhm.
to that. Like the colors, everything. It's just really appealing. I did want to ask a question though about. I know sometimes there's always struggles. Like, what is like the biggest thing that you kind of face as like being a struggle in the during the festival? I've seen like because you have to stop playing music at a certain time, right? Because there's like actually a community that is close by. Like how is that relationship like having the big festival? Like
There's a lot.
I mean, yeah. So
'cause
from
I know it's
year,
a big thing.
than
Yeah.
one for
yeah.
sure.
So from year 1 to year 2 to year 3 to year 4, it's all changed. We
Oh,
close main stage at 12:30. That's the incubus. That's the incubus that will rock people for miles away. And then moving into year 2, year 3, our late night stuff still was, causing some disturbances in the community. And then last year we did our first 4-point quadraphonic sound rig in Ocean Stage field, which worked, and we didn't have any of that. We were reading
cool. That's awesome.
below 55, 60 dBms at festival borders. So
Great.
we successfully did that. The indoor stage, every time the door opens, our dBms would go a little bit out. So the indoor stage still has a little bit to figure out, but we just have to keep the doors closed, which is tough because of how hot it is in there.
Mhm.
But all in all, we've definitely mitigated most of the issues. I mean, obviously, still till 12:30 at night until the main stage turns off, it is a hindrance to the community. But on Sunday, which is a school night, 10 o'clock, hard curfew, we're done right at 9:59.
Yeah.
I definitely would say that like one of the because we respect the Diltrix community so much, and I think that that's something that people like anybody who's traveling from outside of even the peninsula may not understand is Ninilchik is a village of 800 people year round. And so when we bring something the size of Sacred Acre, we are sometimes quadrupling the population of the area for the weekend. And we're bringing in music that is already kind of polarizing in
Mhm.
general. And so it's always been a huge priority for Chris and I to try and make it as the least impactful as possible to the surrounding community. And that's just been a big learning curve for us over the years, is making sure that we're not, we're not being disrespectful to the community that has been gracious enough to host us for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Another one of our biggest hurdles, I would just say, is financial. Something like this is not cheap to do. It's costs hundreds of thousands of dollars every year, and we come close to breaking even, but we're not quite there yet, to be completely honest. Financial hurdles is definitely one of our bigger ones, just because it costs some hundreds of thousands of dollars to produce something like this, and we have great support, but we still haven't gotten over the top yet, to be completely honest, even with thousands of people traveling
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. The amount of production, shipping costs, flights, the fees to pay for our artists,
So much.
it all adds
Mhm.
up. And not to mention that Chris and I haven't made a single dollar off this festival since day one. So a lot of our team year round. Actually, I basically every one of our team members that work year round on this thing haven't been paid $1 from it.
It's interesting. A
So
lot of people probably don't know that, which I think is really says a lot to how much passion you really do have for this to succeed.
yeah, we want to show off our amazing state. We want to showcase our local talent in conjunction with these amazing national artists that many of us have waited years and years to see. And, this, at the end of the day, this is not something that is like financially driven for Chris or I. It's something that we want to see succeed, and it's a creative outlet, and it's a space for connection and community. And, obviously, longevity is based on financial success, but that's not the number one priority at this point.
Well, you're 5 this year. I think, we're getting there. Eventually we will get there. I hope,
Yes.
for you
Yeah,
guys.
no, we're closer than ever this year. I mean, we already hit the total of last year's ticket sales sometime.
Oh, no kidding. That's actually really good to hear that.
Well, we got a couple minutes left here, so Amanda's got a couple more questions for you. And
yeah, mostly I just kind of wanted to know, because obviously, behind the decks, we don't just talk about music. It's also about, how we build this community and how we kind of create this scene that we all fell in love with and still do events, just like for free, because that's essentially you have a passion for it and you want to bring, music to, you want to share the things that make you happy with other people. That's kind of where it comes down to for me. Like, I really kind of just wanted to know, like, what is this festival? Like, what does it really mean personally to like each of you? Like, what do you get out of it? Why do you want to keep doing it? It's just like, I loved hearing about the basis of Sacred Acre. Like,
short.
No, you're good. We still got like 6 minutes at least.
He tells me short because
also like we'll combine in this. What are you most proud of that you guys have achieved so far? So like, what does it mean to you, and what are you proud of?
The thing that I'm most proud of is the fact that we've lasted to year 5.
That's
yeah, because there has been many times over the last 4 years where we have been like, is this something that we want to keep doing? And it's at the end of the day, it's always yes.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing that it means to all of us is like, we are a mission-based thing. We're obviously not making money. We're obviously not pleasing our families by working tirelessly around the clock on this project. But what we are doing is we're creating change. We're bringing together individuals and we're getting them to a like-minded space, and we're getting them to have the conversation and then go back to wherever they're from about how we need to start changing our practice on trawling, on Pebble Mine, on how we function on this planet. And the true answer to all of that is like, we are the answers, the individuals are the answers. And in most sense, the connection of those individuals are the answers. And that is why we do this. We do this to bring people together and to galvanize them and to create them and to harness them into a weapon to fight against trawling, Pebble Mine, all the things that are sickening that mankind does to this planet. And that's in essence what we're doing here. We're using lasers, lights, cameras, action, sound, DJs, euphoria, all these things to like bring humans, because when humans come together, it's amazing what they can do. And the human brain is amazing. We don't even harness the ability to use more than on average 7% of our brain, and yet we could go to outer space. But imagine if we could use 20% of our brain. Imagine if we could teach each other how to do more with each other. And that's, I think, something missing from our society in general and community and everything. And that's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Like, having a mission-based event is something that Chris and I are both very passionate about, and watching Salmon Fest be able to really harness that energy here in Alaska. 2014 Renewable Resources Foundation, which at that point was the backing nonprofit of Salmon Stock, which my family's at that point my family was producing, was named the #1 galvanizing force against Pebble Mine by World Wildlife Foundation. And I have seen these music events really activate change in the communities here. Being able to come into a space where everybody kind of has their guard down to have fun, and allowing them to come together in that is Really, it's a game changer for everybody.
Yeah.
A force of change. That's what you guys
Well, it's
are.
just like
Forces of
connection.
change.
Like connecting people is you're so right. Like when people do come together, it's amazing what we can actually do, when we all work together and in that community. But I mean, man, I can't think. There's so many questions I want to ask, but there's so little time, so I'm trying to
No, I think we can wrap it there. That was
Yeah,
a beautiful end.
That was a beautiful end. I really appreciate you guys
Good
taking
end.
the time for us
Fireworks.
today.
Thank you.
Yeah, fireworks, all the things. Yeah, so
We hope to someday have fireworks.
Yeah,
We don't have fireworks.
I know. Tell people though, like where
fireworks.
they can get tickets and just sacredacre.com or do some plugs.
Yeah. sacredacreak.com. It's got everything you need. If you go to plan your trip, we got all the discount codes, all the flight discount codes, rental car discount codes, recommended hotels. We have lodging partners down in Homer. We have all of the excursion options. All of our tickets are sold through Tixer. Don't buy a ticket off of off any hub that isn't Tixer.
Got it.
Good to
Yeah.
know.
Because there's a massive amount of scam tickets that do go around. But we just really hope that people will continue to support and join us. Like I'm overwhelmed every day by the amount of people that come to Alaska for the first time, the amount of people that are traveling, whether it's an hour or 15 hours to make it to the festival. So
Do you still need volunteers?
Yeah.
Do you still need volunteers or you guys?
We do. We have volunteer applications. 4 hours of volunteer work gets you that
We need
wristband.
able-minded, passionate volunteers.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Want to work the whole weekend and aren't just looking for a free ticket.
That's true. Yes, you actually, when you volunteer, you do have to actually participate and volunteer.
Yeah.
That's important to
Be part of the team.
distinguish.
Be part of the force of change.
Yeah.
We found some of our favorite people ever from the volunteer system. So
It's great.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you
appreciate
everybody
guys.
for watching. And
Yeah.
we'll hope to see you at Sacred Acre.
Yeah, we'll
Thank
be
you guys
there.
so much.
We'll all be
Have
there.
us here.
See you soon.
Sounds good, guys. All right. You guys take care, okay?
Bye.
Thanks for doing this.